Thanks, Ingrid. Morning, everyone. It's nice to be up in Joburg. It's not raining. I heard you've had a torrid time. It's just for a Friday, I'm normally in baggies in my office. Sometimes I wear slops on a Friday, but normally it's just baggies and a t-shirt. So it's a bit different for me this morning. I've tried to use, I'm going to chat quickly and then hand over to Arthur, but using something like a paperback book that everyone is so attached to, getting past the paperback and embracing an electronic book, and what that actually exposes to you. I mean, since I've gone electronic in terms of reading books, I don't want to go back. I mean, that's an example of you've got a dictionary embedded in your book. At any point while I'm reading the book, I can look up a word. I can write notes in that book as I go. I can highlight sections in that book as I go. Oh, wrong way. I can read off any device. I can read off my phone. I can read off my PC. I can read off my iPad. And if I'm reading off my iPhone or my phone and then I cross to my pad, it asks me if I want to cross to where I got to on the other device and immediately synchronizes. I think in terms of business, now, why not do that in business? Why not operate off every single device? Why not operate off your phone if you need to access a file that's now sitting in your office? Allow yourself to do that. Allow automatic synchronization, distributing and putting documents in from your phone or from your tablet. I mean, how does it make any sense to be bound to a cabinet of paper sitting in a specific geographic location? The other thing about the book, and the same applies to the office, a book cost me 80 Rand on Amazon. That paperback would have cost me 280 Rand. Same thing with business. How much are you actually spending day to day on printing paper in your office? And what do? You stick it in a file and you ask Metrofile to come and pick it up and stick it in a store. Why do that if you don't have to do that? So it's with your devices, the monitoring, the access, the reporting, everything that actually sits behind that, to me, makes more sense in terms of business processes and doing business in that kind of way. I'm just going to quickly talk to a specific process. So this was for a client that we put this together. They were running a completely manual insurance claims process, okay, from start to finish, completely paper-based. They weren't able to tell how many open claims they had at any one time, what documents had actually been collected against the claim, how many were able to monitor their agents. They had no control. They were receiving faxes and emails coming into exchange. An agent could go in there, if they saw that, hang on, this is a death claim, I don't feel like doing death claims today, delete. They'd never know that that email or fax was there or even it was deleted. Going digital, you change the landscape. You give management control. They were even, in terms of their reporting, keeping Excel spreadsheets to try and determine where they stood. 3 or 4 different spreadsheets, completely unconnected. Going digital, in other words, everything coming in comes in through a coordinated point. You've got a designated team dealing with all incoming correspondence. We monitor from the time that fax or email hits that inbox, the timer starts. If they have correspondence sitting there that's been sitting there for 2 days and not dealt with, the manager gets an automatic notification telling them exactly which emails or faxes have been received that no one has actually opened. So you've got a complete, and nobody has the ability to delete or manipulate. They have to deal with that piece of correspondence and either start a claim or allocate that to a new claim or to an existing claim. Essentially, every single piece of correspondence comes in, gets converted to a standardized PDF format, and it splits that fax. So it splits it into its individual documents. They then allocate the different document types. So they specify whether it's an ID, they specify whether it's a death certificate that's been certified, and they allocate key information in terms of the account number or the ID number to that document. Just once to the one document, and it applies it to all the others. Underlying this, and in terms of this process, you've got documents, you've got a controlled workflow, you've got, from the transactional perspective, which I'm going to run through quickly now, in terms of the forms, you're collecting all your transactional information, which is all with that particular claim and stays with the claim. The documents go in and they stay in the same place. And underlying the entire thing is a reporting module telling you everything you want to know about the actual transaction and the agent who's actually doing that actual claim. So it goes through pre-assessment, assessment, final assessment. It can at that point get rejected, or it moves on and they calculate how much they're actually going to pay the person. So it literally goes through controlled, defined steps and the pre-assessment guys cannot see what's going on in assessment. So once they've passed that task on, it's gone. And everything is being monitored, task-based, and driven automatically from one step to the next. At each step, it gives them the new form that they've got to complete and links every single one of them together. And, sorry, I apologize, it's not the best color, but essentially, this is the process they're then going through and completing these forms, which are then dynamically passing information on to the next form. I mean, even the contact details here. So all these details are kept. We use these contact details to dynamically create at the end of the process either that rejection letter or the approval letter. So, I mean, even your calculations here, it's doing every single piece of calculation, and in terms of age calculations, balance calculations, settlement calculations, all inside the system. And produces a final letter. There's absolutely no reason you can't do this whole process completely electronically. It's a company and a process that's running completely manually, which has been dynamically converted. The time taken now to process a claim is roughly 5 minutes. They didn't know how long it took them. They had claims sitting in there that were active for 5 months. They didn't know that they had to still collect an ID document. So I think I'm going to stop at that point, and I'm going to ask Arthur to come up. If you'd like to see more, I am hooked into the actual system itself. If anyone would like to actually look at the claim system, it is all here. Thanks.